not only are we able to record them, distribute their music, we're also going to be able to run their social media, do contents for them. It's my biggest hit and it's their biggest hit. We had no idea that it was gonna come to that level at all. Most of the time, they either don't know about you, and it's not their job to know about you. It's your job to let yourself be known.
Hey everyone, how's it going? On this episode of the KDigitals podcast, I'm joined by Jimmy Pablo. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Can't complain on a Thursday. It's been nice and sunny. I don't know. I know you're in California, right? It's been like super rainy, just like not spring yet, but still kind of hanging out in the winter.
Yeah, it's kind of overcast, but it's pretty sunny out here, so I can't complain.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, man. Well, let's jump right into it. So, like I was mentioning, the way I like to kick off the podcast is always to ask the guest, can you define what kind of artist you are? From you, right? Some might say like a rapper, but no, you do a lot more with Eastbound on behind the scenes, right? Like you, I don't know, entrepreneur, you're a video producer, you're an editor, you're a podcaster. Like you do a lot. So, like, how do you define
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah. If I have to define myself, I would say I I am an artist, a hip hop artist. Um, just because I do a lot of different styles or vibes, as you would say, of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't only just do trap. I do like positive feel good vibes, like something Chance the Rapper would do or Kyle. Um,
Mm.
but I also do like love songs sometimes. Like the old, like kind of like some of the Drake songs, and I do songs that you might want to listen to at the gym as well. So that's why I just say hip hop artist. And then besides that, the other things is I'm a creative director for Eastbound. Um, and that was actually kind of just established just not too long ago
Mm-hmm.
because we have to like pretty much give each other roles at this point since the work is getting piled on a little bit more. So that part I'm just in charge of making content, the production part, um, anything anything that you would post up or anything that they would have to post up or any content for social media. That's kind of what I do now for the team.
Mm-hmm. So, for the people that don't know, what is Eastbound?
So Eastbound is first off it's a media company and a label, right? So how it started is it kind of came out of frustration for me as an artist, not getting the spotlight that I want, right?
Okay.
If that makes sense. So as an artist or as a rapper, you tend to reach out to a lot of different places where you want to be. For example, and it's just an example, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if there's a site called Tizzler on the Roof, right? So which is like a website for hip Bay Area artists, right? So sometimes you submit on there and you're not gonna, you can submit on there 5, 10 times unless you know somebody in there or whatever goes on. You're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna get the proper, um, they're not gonna accept your submission or you're not gonna get the proper spotlight or this
Mm-hmm.
artist has a you know gets this and that. And so that's kind of what Eastbound is. I don't it came out of frustration of me not getting the spotlight that I wanted for me as an artist. And so instead of um me kind of like sulking around like, oh, how come no one's giving me the spotlight, what I did was I built this Eastbound and turned it into my spotlight. And then later on, um, about 6 months in, I then brought in, Kelvin, which is my audio engineer, and Daniel, which is a really close friend of mine, to help me out build this thing. And yeah, and then luckily they kind of like doing it too, and they kind of uh, so now I consider them like co-founders, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So like, me, Daniel, and Kelvin, we're the kind of co-founders of the
Mm-hmm.
thing. But the real background of that channel was that channel used to be my personal channel as an artist. It
Okay.
used to be like the Jimmy Pablo channel. It's just like about Jimmy Pablo or my music and my vlogs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turned into Eastbound. Um, and also it kind of turned into we started also giving spotlight to other artists that, we're on the same boat as me, not getting the light of the day. And so there's a lot of things going on. Um, but yeah, it's essentially it's not essentially, but it is pretty much a way for me to build myself my own spotlight in the beginning, and it kind of turned into like a label slash media as yeah, anything music related for Eastbound.
So is it still like accomplishing the original goal of like trying to highlight you, or is it kind of like your priorities have changed, like becoming more of this kind of like producer in the background?
Well, most definitely. It was kind of there was a point where I was just trying to concentrate on getting more people to go on Eastbound, that I essentially forgot to become an artist. And I kind of became this production guy, and trying to come up with content, like like the drinks on us podcast, blah blah blah. Not until recently we kind of switched our gears into they were like, what are we doing? Why it's weird that we're pushing the channel before we push the artist. We should push the artist, and then the artist then brings the channel with him. And so that's kind of our new shift now this year is, me as an artist, since I'm pretty much one of two main artists that we have, I'm gonna be not only pushing my music through the channel, but also the channel itself is gonna back me up, because we're gonna rise with it together.
For sure. So as like a label, then is it something where like you guys are signing people and like trying to do all the marketing for them, or is it more like they're like guests that come on, kind of like the Color Show, and like that elevates? Like how does that part work?
Well, our goal is to become a real legitimate label, like a one-stop shop. That's what we want, right? Okay. So once we carry on an artist, right, not only are we able to record them, distribute their music, we're also going to be able to run their social media, do contents for them, and become their production partner, like their content partner, right? Because that's what I mean. Let's be real. Like nowadays, do you really need a label, right? Like you can get a nice mic, pay someone on Fiverr for $5-10 to mix your song, which will damn near sound really great, I mean, great enough for you to release it. Go on distribution sites like DistroKid or TuneCore, and release it yourself, and that'll be on Spotify into the world, right? So what artists really needs nowadays in this decade, or the 2021s, and moving on, is the help on social media, because that's really where it's at. The help on making TikTok. TikTok has been breaking more artists recently than ever. But yeah, I mean, just helping all those channels. And so I think that's, I don't know, did I stray off the original question?
No.
Sorry, I go on these rants. So just be aware.
Yeah, no, I'm all about it. That's content, right? That's more content for me, but that's like another thing. For sure, man. No, that makes sense. I mean, like that's the thing. Like Daniel, like obviously we know it. I know him, and like he's told me like all the like stuff you guys got going on. So how long ago do you guys have like on? I have a note like you have over 21 million views on YouTube. So like,
yeah,
you guys must have been doing this for a while and know what you're doing, right? To hit that milestone,
We've only been doing this, or officially when I turned the channel into the Eastbound channel, maybe 2019. It's not that long, like the beginning of 2019. That's when I started really turning it into something. The ice video, that's what I did, was it went viral in the Philippines. So alongside with that, that's when I switched over the channel to so it was kind of simultaneously with that video.
I see. So that come about because obviously you're based there in the Bay Area, and then all our guys are in the Philippines. Like, how did that collab or project, or like how did that even like come to be?
Yeah. So it's really hard to the competition um is so high here in the states in America that you gotta have money, you gotta do this, do that.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2015, 2016, I saw that I'm bilingual, so I can speak Tagalog. I have a lot of friends in the Philippines as well. And so back in 2015, 2016, I started seeing really quality hip hop work coming out of the Philippines, and it's really garnering attention as well. So I was like, "Oh, okay, this is kind of interesting." And so what I did was I went back home to the motherland, as I would like to call it, in Manila. I started making music with a lot of those folks, and I started hiring the directors, the same directors that all those other people hired. Kind of like I kind of like what do you like to call it? Like bought my way into like the hip hop circle there, which was really small back in 2016, right? Because there's only a few known rappers. The scene is just growing. Now it's pretty big. It's exploded, but yeah. And then so from those type of relationship, I met one person to the other.
Mm-hmm.
Then I met this kid named Awi, um, and he's part of that group Acid Minds, and they really have dope music. And I said, why don't if you guys want to do a collab with me, and we did. I sent them a couple beats. They picked one, they wrote to it, sent it back and forth. And then we planned out the video. I'm going home to the Philippines in this March, April,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're gonna shoot it then. Um, I mean, honestly, like I think it's my biggest hit and it's their biggest hit. We had no idea that it was gonna come to that level at all,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was just kind of unexpected thing that happened. But I mean, we are in the works of making another one. Just a matter of fact of when can I get back there.
I know, right? I didn't come kind of threw everything off. That's cool, man. So like that makes sense. Like you were like tracking the scene pretty much. You knew who was who and how things were working. And okay, I'm gonna come there and then I'm gonna like DJ like the creators together, and then we're gonna build something. And kind of Ice came out of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what I did was one of the biggest artists out there at the time was this guy named Al James,
Okay.
and I saw who was directing all his music videos, and then I
Mm-hmm.
hired that same guy. And so
Mm.
when I hired that same guy, he then introduced me to these other people, right? And then those other people, I ended up those other people. His name is Zyme and DJ Stilo. They're actually from the Bay as well.
Oh shit.
And um, so I met Zyme in the Philippines, even though they're from the Bay Area, which was weird,
Mm-hmm.
So we clicked right away because we're from like the same area. We got the same attitude,
Mm-hmm.
we got the same um, mannerisms, slangs, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I started working with Zyme a lot, and Zyme then introduced me to that kid Awi from Acid Minds, and that's how it went. So Ice was literally like Ice was like it's like a domino effect from like that first time I hired that
Mm.
director.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a chronological order where I this is what happened next. This is what like completely like it's clear crystal day because um yeah, like I know I met these guys at my video shoot. Then
Mm-hmm.
I hit them up. We started working, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool, man. No, that's all cool. Well, so to kind of piggyback off that and kind of revisiting, like earlier you mentioned, like you're like you change your sound, right? You're able to like adapt to different song. So then, like, how do you go from something like Ice, which has more maybe like the auto tune and everything, to like game clips, where you're more like aggressive, more in your face? Like, how are you able to like jump between those two and like still make it
Yeah.
work?
Well, I mean, it's really about my inspirations as I'm writing the song.
Okay.
Um, right now, I write a lot about um just the come up, as you can say,
Mm-hmm.
like imag like I rap about my lyrics consist of a lot of working hard, working um for what you want, looking to the future, what that life's gonna be like, fantasizing
Mm-hmm.
about when you get there, um while you're on the way up, you're kind of like looking around, seeing what other people are doing around you, seeing who's, if people are hating on you and things like that. But like it's kind of like it's both. It's like me daydreaming. My rap is like both like me, like let's hustle, let's do this, let's work hard, let's push, and at the same time it's like me daydreaming, like like you know I'll buy a house for my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. When did you get started like as like Jimmy Pablo, like the rapper or the hip hop artist, right? Like how long has that been going on?
Well, I went through different names, but I pretty much started with Daniel. So your friend Daniel actually was the one
Yeah.
who got me started into it. I don't know if he ever mentioned this to
No,
you
I didn't know that.
before. Back in high school, um he told me, he was like, "Hey Jimmy, I want to rap, right? You should
Mhm,
join me." And at this point I had no aspirations of being a rapper or anything like that.
mhm.
I pretty much I was just a kid. I would just kind of, enjoy like goofing off and stuff like that. Like I had no like hobbies per se.
Mhm.
And then yeah, I mean we did like me and Daniel became like a rapper duo. My rapper name at the time was Poon, Poon, which was like my last name, and then his rapper name was Mystics, and we were called Technics with
Okay.
a T, like TEKNIKS. And so um I always tell people like this wasn't even my dream, right? This was my friend Daniel's dream that I stole, right?
Mhm,
Because I remember we were talking one time, and he was just like, "I just want to be the biggest rapper ever," right? That's
mhm.
what he told me. And then I was like, "Oh, okay." And then and I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess I want to be a biggest rapper too," right? And then
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of started going, and then he kind of lost interest in it, and but kept
You just kept
going with it.
yeah.
Yeah, and then it got to the point where it's like I'm in too deep now with the investment. You know what I'm saying? Like
Tell me about it.
I
Yeah.
bought lights, I bought lights, I bought uh cameras and all that production stuff to help me further this career or
Mhm.
my artistry. So it's like I feel like let's give it a few more years till we kind of slow it down, and but I think I'll forever make music,
Mhm.
especially now that um I think what is going to happen is a lot of millennials will grow up still loving hip hop,
Mhm.
right? But we're not, millennials are obviously not going to be able to relate to, the kids coming out, right?
Mhm.
Like the 19-year-olds, the 20-year-olds, or the 18-year-olds.
Mhm.
But there's going to be artists that are in their age range, 40,
Mhm.
45, 50, that they are more have similar experiences that I think,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like before where hip hop started in the '80s, so we don't we haven't seen what old rappers, you know what I'm saying, till recently, till now, and I don't know, I still like some of their new stuff that they're coming out with, so um
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like so like I like Public Enemy, right? And like Robo Rap stuff. But they're trying to listen to like I don't feel like I can relate to this either, right? Like I feel like I was the wrong generation for this. But then everyone talks like, oh, the new rap, it's like changes. It's not like I like Denzel Curry, I like Smoke Perp, like those. But I feel like I can relate to them more just because of the same like wavelength, right? In terms of like age.
Yeah.
So for sure. So was Nah Mean Nah I'm saying like your original like the pre Jimmy Pablo like how what,
Yeah, so that was my name, the so 2017, my name used to be Steezy P,
okay.
and I was like, it's kind of cringing on my own name, and so that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the sign. It's like I need to change. So
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, I did. So I changed it, but what happened was I couldn't think of anything to change it to.
Mm-hmm.
Now I mean I'm saying was my gamer tag on Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
and so as a goof, I'm gonna call myself Nami Nam saying. until I figure out
Mm.
my actual. It was a placeholder until I figure out my actual name change. Now that Nami Nam saying, I'm still gonna work out in my head. I'm like, I'm still gonna work. I'm still gonna shoot videos. I'm still gonna do all this, right? But I'll just keep that as a placeholder, right?
Mhm.
As DZP, I barely got any views. I barely got any attention. And then all of a sudden, when I did Not Mean I'm Saying,
They're just like.
it just kind of blew up.
Mhm.
Not blew up, but like I got more views.
Mhm.
I got a track called Drippin' Drippin'. That got like 40. I think it's at 70K now. No Doubt as well, over at 40, 50K on YouTube. That
Mhm.
was all under Nami Nam Saying, and then Ice, right, which was also Nami Nam Saying, and then so like
Oh, interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, so I was like, damn, like okay, so like last year, beginning of last year. Oh wait, yeah, beginning of no, I think like mid last year. I was
Okay.
like, I think most. So my real name is Jimmy, right? So I wanted to be called Jimmy, right? Because it was just easier for me to introduce to people. Like my name is Jimmy,
Yeah.
like it's a very natural. And so I just thought, well, initially was gonna call myself Jimmy Pogi. Pogi means like handsome in Tagalog,
Mhm.
right? But I was like, oh, that's stupid, man. And so like I just like the Jimmy Pablo. It kind of makes me sound like the Bachelor type,
Okay.
yeah, has that the Bachelor name. So I was like, okay,
Mhm.
let's just go with Jimmy Pablo. And uh, so yeah,
So there's a collab you did in the song called like Mala Pablo. Is that
yeah.
based off your name or is that?
No, that was all coincidence. That was all
Oh,
coincidental.
for sure.
When we made that song, like that was like late 2019. Um, I was still Nami Nam saying. I was just lucky that all those music are in my channel, so I just went through and just changed the name.
Yeah, that worked out really well then. For sure. That's
But
cool,
if you
man.
notice, I have like Drippin' Drippin' and No Doubt, which is not on my channel. It still says Nami Nam saying.
Oh no, I didn't know that. Interesting. So
Um,
like there's still like the still connected little history. Yeah.
yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So to just kind of like left it a bit. So like I said, like that's so like the idea like that you really can do these different sounds. So then when it comes to your like song creating process, like how does that work, right? Because if like you do a different sound every time, do you come in with like, oh, I want to do these kind of vocals, or I want to boom that beat, so I'm gonna adapt everything to that beat. Like how do you approach that?
Yeah, my process is very simple. There's two ways to go about it. Sometimes I'll just go through. Sometimes producers would just send me stuff, especially produce. There's a lot of producers in the Philippines that like to work with me now, since I'm like known now
Mhm.
out there, and so they'll send me stuff on my email, and but also sometimes I'm just going through YouTube beats,
Mhm.
right? I just go through YouTube and look for beats on there, and then if something and something really vibes with me, I just
Mhm.
write it per whatever that that vibe is, right? So it's very fluid. Like
Mhm.
it's like I'm taking the shape of whatever the vibe of the beat is. Now, sometimes I'm listening to an artist, right? Like if I'm working out or something like that, and I
Mhm.
go, oh, what if I try to make a song with this vibe, right? So then I'll look for that type of vibe, where that type of style or that type of production, where it's like more of that artist.
Mhm.
What I've recently started doing um, is I've been writing for other people as well. So um, currently I'm writing for this pop star in Manila, right? So she
Yeah.
approached me just recently, actually, just within this week, and she said that she has a single, she she needs a single to come out in March, but all the songs being presented to her she doesn't like. And she said, she likes all my songs, so
Mhm.
I can try writing her something. And she's more of like Ariana, Dua Lipa,
Okay.
type pop star. So, I've been listening to those type of artists, and listening to those type of production,
Mhm.
and kind of putting like a compose a song together. And so yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm not a producer. I don't make beats. I wish I
Mhm.
could, but yeah, my
Mhm.
strength is really writing song.
Okay. Dude, like, how do you write like a pop song? 'Cause, like, I feel like if you have like a genre, but it's like pop, it's like make it catchy, right? Like, how do you do
Yeah.
that?
Well, my my it kind of goes back to, and I'm gonna do a comparison. So by trade, I graduated college as a graphic designer. So that's kind of like my trade, right? Um, a little fun fact. I know you guys side thing.
Mhm.
I actually got an interview at Gummy Cube as a graphic designer one time.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
No way. Yeah.
Yeah, this was way before Daniel was dead, like probably like 2 years before he got
Oh,
hurt.
that's very coincidental. Yeah.
Um, so maybe you've seen me in person. Right? But uh, so I was a graphic designer by trade. So kind of like a graphic designer, I have this ability to really absorb somebody else's style or their branding and things like that.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, so it what like so for example, if I'm writing a pop song or something like that, I'm like listening to like who I'm asking her who do you like? Like you like Ariana, you like Dua, you like you know Katy Perry, whatever, right?
Hmm.
Now if they give me an artist or a few artists, then I'm gonna just spend a few days like just listening to those artists and think and really observe like what are they talking about, right?
Hmm.
What topics are they talking about? And then that's how I steer it. With this one I kind of got started already, so I can kind of talk about it a little bit. So I noticed that those artists are, even though the songs are upbeat, most of them are talking about heartbreak. Most of them are talking about
Hmm.
um, being deceived or things like that, right? And so that's kind of where I'm taking the direction of the song. Even though it's the vibe is like 80s pop type, like
Hmm.
uh, yeah.
So if so, it's clear you have like this audience, right? This like base in the Philippines. Do you ever see yourself like eventually like moving there, like to stay for like long term, or like is the Bay Area kind of like the home base for a while?
Um, I did kind of consider moving there like 2019 before the pandemic, but not but not moving there, like staying there for like 6 months and just maximize, maybe do a tour, do the shows, collab with all these artists. But I kind of sat down and thought about, wait, I mean, I can just keep doing what I'm doing, which was I would go out there for like a month, 2 months tops,
Mhm.
and collab with these artists, shoot these music videos, and just really clamp down as to, because I feel like if I go out there, the Philippines is fun. Like it's as much as um it's a fun place to be, especially if you have money. Food is cheap, uh clubs are cheap.
Mhm.
um you can go to the beach, beautiful beaches there. So it's very easy to like get distracted by other things besides what you came there to do. Now
Hmm.
if you just coming there with a set amount of time, and what I usually do is I'll plan stuff
Mhm.
like before I come out there, then you would get to accomplish a lot, right?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it. I was able to accomplish what I want to accomplish there, anyways. But in regards to moving there, I don't think so. I I mean, you never know.
Mhm.
You never know. I mean, I never say never, but as of right now, I wanna focus on putting, you know, my Filipino American experience on the map here in the US. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Mhm.
because I feel like I don't need to be a big artist. I just need solid fans. That's what kind of what it is now, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who is not a really big artist. They'll get, you know, 100K views on every video, or 100, 200K, but
Mm-hmm.
they're living off that because, you know, in the Western world, we have money to spend on merch. Our cost per view is more on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our cost per play on Spotify is more. And so this, especially if it's just you and you're independent and you own this stuff, this is pretty much your job. You
Mm-hmm.
can live off this stuff. You can tour, put it together. Um, yeah.
Dope. So
It's
then, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh so sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Well, so that's why I was like curious. It's like you really take a step back. Like you're just all around like content creator, and not like this like Instagrammy like cliche one. But like you could write your own songs, you could produce your own videos, you could write music for other people. You know how to bring people together. Like with all that together, like what else do you have like really in store for 2021 and like grow into like Jimmy Pablo brand?
Um, a lot more music videos this year. A lot more music videos. I'm slowing down my writing for new songs. I
Mm-hmm.
I have plenty of songs on the vault.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna I'm planning to do like some backward some. So every song I'm gonna drop this year is pretty much a single,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna come with a music video, and that music video is gonna be accompanied by marketing with some marketing money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not much, but I think it's good enough to get seen by new eyes. Um, and of course, that's what I have in store this year. As for Eastbound, where we have shifted more into um not only pushing me as an artist
Mm-hmm.
first. Um, we are actually doing like an agency aspect to what we do now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we're able to bring in more capital, and then in turn, um, do put that capital back into the recycle of Eastbound.
Mm-hmm.
So that just gives me more money to work with as an artist as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that's what's pretty much gonna go on in my life this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. Dope, man. Well, I know we're during time. Wanted to ask just like one last question. So you've gotten your hands pretty dirty a lot, right? Just doing like all this work and like grinding, right? And like pushing forward. I guess what's something you wish you knew? What's one thing you like you learned from all this that you wish you knew when you first really started like the Jimmy Pablo brand? Like even going back as far as like when you started working with like Daniel, and you're like, okay, let's make this a
Um,
thing.
that it was all that to maybe not be insecure so much about not getting the spotlight, right?
Okay.
Um, because before I had Eastbound, I was really into like, why am I not getting the spotlight that I needed? Why I'm reaching out to these people, they're not reaching out back to me. Why is this guy getting more attention than I am? Why is But as you come to find out in the industry, especially in the Philippines, and I think it's pretty similar to everywhere else, is most of the time they either don't know about you, and it's not their job to know about you. It's your job to let yourself be known, right?
Oh.
Um, and so with that being said, just because you reached out, doesn't mean they saw your thing, or um. So I think you have to be more proactive with reaching out, and just don't stop. I mean, and a lot of it is actually like who like networking wise,
Mm-hmm.
right, within the industry. Um, that's one thing I'm lacking here in the Bay Area and stuff is I don't have like the connections, right? Like I don't have the connections to these publications that do the Bay Area sounds or whatever. I don't have any of that, but
Mhm.
um, well, I'm slowly am getting to know people.
Mhm.
Um, but it's still the same mindset. I'm started working with this videographer guy. Because that's one thing I cannot do is music videos. I cannot shoot my own music videos to save my life. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Um, it's just different type of shooting. It's just like I can't like you can't be both. You can't be the artist and worrying about what's behind the camera. It's just not gonna come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you at least need somebody that knows what they're doing initially, right?
Mhm.
You can direct it and tell them your vision, but you need somebody there shooting you that knows what they're doing and the editing and all that stuff. So I'm working with this guy who's gonna be shooting my music videos, and I think it's a growing relationship. They're pretty green and they need to grow, and um and so it just works out for both of us, the relationship. So I'm really excited what that's gonna come out to be. Shooting. I have a new song coming out. I don't know when this is coming out. I have a new song coming out on the 20th, February 20th.
Mhm.
Um, if this is if this is the 20th, this comes out, then go stream my new song "Thanks for Nothing" on Spotify and YouTube.
Mhm.
If not, if it comes out tomorrow, I'm gonna have a new song come out on the 20th
Bet.
called "Thanks for Nothing."
It'll
So
it'll
come.
it'll be live on Tuesday. So what's Tuesday? So it'll be in the same little window, right? So it'll probably
Okay,
just
okay,
have came out.
okay. Yeah. Because it's gonna come out this Saturday, pretty much. So
Mhm.
yeah, I have a new song coming out. Thanks for Nothing. We're shooting the music video the week after, in the 27th. Hopefully, I can drop it the first week of March. Um, yeah, and then I got a new song coming out in March as well with Zyme, called Hours. We're gonna shoot the music video at the end of March,
Mhm.
and then hopefully we drop that first week of April. So
Mhm.
lot of things
For sure, man. For
moving.
sure.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of plugged it. I kind of plugged there.
Oh, dude, do your thing. Yeah, do your thing. Like the whole point of the podcast, like my thing for this is like I like it. I'd like. So I'm an artist that likes doing a lot of things, but I've learned if you try to do too much, you don't get good at anything.
Yeah,
But also like be a jack of all trades. It's a whole nother conversation. But my thing is I like other art, but like saying I try doing music, I like doing it, but I've learned like there are people that are better than me. They're
yeah,
probably like graphic designers. I like graphic design, but there's gonna be people that are gonna blow me in the water day one. It's like, okay, let me just go interview those people, kind of live through them, also pick their brains and learn from my own personal stuff, and then take it from there. But at the same time, it's also like you probably know, like there are a lot of artists that are good artists, but they're probably not the best at putting themselves out there. We're getting that recognition. We're like trying to figure that out. But it's a whole nother like mindset, right? Just knowing how to connect the dots and networking, which it seems like you know how to do. So the TLDR of that whole rant is the point of this podcast is also to promote other artists, right? So like plug it all you want, man. It's all good.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mhm. Also, I gotta retroactively go back. Not this Tuesday. It's gonna be the Tuesday after. This
Oh, okay.
Tuesday is gonna be Spencer Priest from Scoped Exposure.
Oh,
Um,
awesome. Awesome.
but we'll connect all the dots, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But anyways, cool, man. This is a fun interview. I'm glad I got to do this like real deep dive. Where can people follow you? Where can they listen to you at? Like, how can they find you?
Yeah, so follow me on Spotify and on YouTube under Jimmy Pablo.
Mhm.
So just type in Jimmy Pablo, JimmyPablo, Jimmy Pablo. On my Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, um, ITS Jimmy Pablo. All no, all in one. It's Jimmy Pablo, all in one, no space or nothing. But yeah.
Dope, man. Cool, Jimmy. Well, hey, man, thank you for taking the time to join me today. I will give you back your day, and I will talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Peace, brother. Bye.